Now on CoastTV News.
Veto request: why the Delaware Hispanic Commission is taking issue with a bill now awaiting the governor's signature. Digital detox: Virginia cracks down on teen screen time, the new rule and when it kicks in. And sweeping changes: Trump's massive tax and spending plan moves forward, how it could impact nearly everyone.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Big promises, big price tags, and big changes that could be coming your way. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Thanks for joining us. On Tuesday, the U.S. Senate narrowly passed an updated version of President Donald Trump's sweeping tax and spending cuts package. The multi-trillion-dollar bill would cut taxes for most households while also boosting funding for the administration's immigration initiatives. But to offset those costs, it includes massive cuts to health care, food assistance, and other programs. Michael Yoshida in Washington to explain what this could mean for you.
The deeply divided House taking up the Senate's version of Trump's mega bill, which would unlock tax cuts as well as boost funding for national security, partly paid for by the largest cut to the federal safety net in decades.
From seniors to college students, the wealthy to the poor, nearly every American could be affected by President Donald Trump's mega bill.
This bill has something for everybody.
The legislation, dubbed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, narrowly passed the Senate Tuesday, reduces taxes for nearly all households. But a Tax Policy Center analysis shows nearly 60% of those cuts would benefit only the top 20% of U.S. households, those making $217,000 or more yearly, while most middle and low-income Americans may not notice much of a change in their tax bill. It also temporarily provides tax breaks for some workers who get tips or overtime, and senior citizens through 2028.
Our goals were, how do we create an economy which works for working and middle America?
There's also roughly $150 billion in new funding for the president's immigration agenda, including money for a border wall, ICE's enforcement efforts, and detention centers. Some $3.3 trillion to the national deficit over a decade, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office.
We're adding debt to our children and grandchildren who are defenseless. Debt is a curse.
And the biggest cuts to the federal social safety net in decades, including food assistance, the Affordable Care Act, and Medicaid.
Donald Trump's One Big Ugly Bill rips health care away from more than 17 million Americans.
Experts say it would have a ripple effect throughout the healthcare system, especially on rural hospitals, which likely would have to reduce staff, limit services, or close their doors entirely.
And House Speaker Mike Johnson has said he hopes to be able to have a vote on this bill either later today or tomorrow, the goal being able to try and pass the legislation before President Trump's self-imposed deadline of July 4th. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Now in the Delaware political world, an education information bill is headed to Governor Matt Meyer's desk. House Bill 29, sponsored by Brian Shoup of Milford, would require the Delaware Department of Education to make its annual school performance data reports more accessible online. It also would add some new requirements that includes listing career pathways offered at high schools and including data on low-income students and English language learners. New tonight, the Delaware Hispanic Commission has sent a letter to Governor Meyer requesting he veto Senate Bill 63. If the bill is signed into law, it would prohibit an employer from improperly classifying an employee as an independent contractor. Sponsors say this is needed to stop companies from dodging labor laws. But in this letter to the governor, the commission says it puts too much pressure on general contractors and could push out small Hispanic-owned businesses that rely on subcontracting work. We have new information tonight about this crash in Milton Tuesday morning. Delaware State Police say the driver involved is now facing DUI and weapons charges. Troopers say 33-year-old James Fisher of Ellendale crashed a Ford truck into several parked cars on Harbison Road. After the crash, he was seen hiding a bag behind a tree. Inside the bag, troopers found stolen guns, ammo, and ballistic vests. Police say Fisher showed signs of impairment and he failed sobriety tests. He's also banned from owning firearms due to a past conviction. He's now facing multiple felony charges. Well, as summer is getting into full swing here on Delmarva, the Delaware Office of Highway Safety is raising awareness about the dangers of heat stroke. OHS hosted an event today at the Dover DMV to educate families on child passenger safety and how quickly a parked car can reach dangerous temperatures. With hot days ahead, officials say it is crucial to be careful.
As you can see, the temperature can increase in a very short amount of time. It can raise 20 degrees in 10 minutes to make those conditions very unsafe for children in cars.
And if you missed today's event, the next one is set for Wednesday, August 20th from 1 to 3 at the Georgetown DMV. Now we're going to go outside and take a live look into Lewis and bring in our first alert chief meteorologist, Paul Williams. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Christina. And thanks to all the rain we had this morning and the rain we had yesterday, we've actually cooled down a bit, but fear not, my friends, we will heat up very quickly going into the next few days with that little bit of dry weather. But just how wet were we? Well, we had 1.67 inches of rain in Cambridge, just shy of an inch for us in Salisbury, and just over a quarter of an inch actually in Ocean City. But here's where we stand right now. We're settling well into the 70s, 72 in places like Milton, Redding, Millsboro, Gumboro, Delmar, Dagsboro, as well as Long Neck. And as far as the rainfall total is concerned, I mean, we've just started a new month. So overall, we're about, just about a tenth of an inch, close to a tenth of an inch beyond our normal rainfall total. On the second day, by the way. Before the year, we're about a year and a half ahead of the pace. Coming up, we're going to talk about just how much rain we received in all from this morning and when the next round of rain is headed our way. Christina?
Thanks, Paul. Well, the massive mixed-use plan called Cool Spring Crossing was back in front of Sussex County Planning and Zoning today. New tonight, the county gave the first green light, recommending to approve the project with a handful of conditions that will go to the county council. Cool Spring Crossing would go on Route 9 and Cool Spring Road. The idea includes more than 1,900 housing units spread across 7 villages, plus a YMCA, a grocery store, restaurants, a hotel, an art or theater center, and more. Some locals we spoke with say they don't think the infrastructure can handle a development this size.
The last thing we need is 1,900 more houses. It's hard to get a medical appointment, and it's hard to go anywhere.
Now, those recommendations made today, they still have to go in front of the county council for final approval. And this does bring us to our Coast TV poll tonight, because we want to know what concerns you about Sussex County development. Looking at the results now, 59% say more traffic, 3% say school crowding, 23% with healthcare strain, 15% worried about losing open space. And we do want to know what you think here, so you can still vote. Go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. To Ocean City now, the Army Corps of Engineers says the Ocean City Inlet is in dire need of dredging. That's now scheduled to start in just a few weeks on July 21st. Coast TV spoke with some boaters today who say that project will help everyone sailing in and out of the area. The Army Corps plans to dredge 7,500 cubic yards of material near the northern half of the Ocean City Inlet Channel. That's near the harbor. They say the timing is intentional.
It has to be done before the White Marlin Open. When that tournament's here, it's the largest and richest billfish tournament in the world. We'll have over 400 boats participating in that event.
And according to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they expect the dredging project to take only 8 days. New restrictions aimed at curbing social media use for people under the age of 16 now in effect in Virginia. The law requiring social media companies to set default time limits of 1 hour per day. That's for minors. It took effect yesterday. It was signed by Governor Glenn Youngkin back in May. Those new restrictions will not be enforced until January 1st, though, giving the social media platforms some time to add the updates. But Pam Groff, an elementary school teacher and mother, says she thinks the responsibility lies with parents to impart good technology habits.
I think part of the problem is that parents themselves model being on social media far more than they should as well. And if parents are concerned about their kids being on social media, then they should look at their own usage, and they should look at how families need to look at how they're interacting with each other.
And parents will also have the option to add or take away from their child's social media accounts in Virginia. And we are just getting started this evening. Coming up, expensive explosions. Why your 4th of July celebration may cost you more this year. But first, spotted and saved. Meet the off-duty lifeguards who jumped in when it mattered most.
Let's jump into the Bay forecast. 89 in Cambridge on Thursday, 86 on Friday with more sunshine, by the way, and then 88 on Saturday. That sunshine is going to be something we need to talk a little more detail about. We'll be back in 60 seconds. For the last couple of days, we've been just trying to shake off the rain showers and thunderstorms we've been dealing with, along with severe weather and all that other hubbub. Well, this time, Bub, things are going to have a different rub to the forecast, so to speak. In Milford, 73 degrees with the winds out of the north, relatively light. Now, we're going to stay at about 73, but listen, the cloud cover has vamoosed, so to speak, out of existence. We're going to stay clear, and that's going to help in one way, hurt in another. Helping that is going to help us cool off nicely in the morning. I mean, we're already cooled down to 72 in a lot of locations. It's 74 in Lewis. It's also 74 right now, by the way, in Georgetown. As you take a look at our live radar, you'll notice we're really clear. I mean, the cloud cover is gone. The rain is gone. It's just all erased off the board, and we're going to stay that way. We have a stationary boundary to our north. It's not going to cause much of a ruckus either. I was concerned about it helping to pop off a little spot shower, but you know what? We used up so much of our energy and moisture in the last couple of days. We're going to dry out for the next few days. I mean, we had really close to an inch, actually, officially in Georgetown. Let me show you what I'm showing you that. We're at nearly 2 inches in Lewis, Prime Hook, and Greenwood, nearly an inch and a half in Delmar, Dagsboro, over an inch. We had over an inch of rain, actually, in Bethany Beach. Georgetown, we had just shy of an inch of rain there, and in Ellendale as well. We had a good, decent dousing of scattered showers in Laurel. Air quality is starting to become a little bit of a concern. You see these yellow dots here, Washington, Baltimore, and then over here near Dover, and over Atlantic City for that matter. So as a region, we're starting to go from greens to yellows. Now, if we see more dots turn yellow, or better yet, turn orange, then we're going to see our air quality become an issue. But for right now, we're okay. 89 for the high in Lewis and in Rehoboth. Look for a high of 89 in Vienna, 90 in Cambridge. We'll get a chance to sizzle up to about 88 degrees in Snow Hill, as well as Pocomoke City. You see, as we go into Thursday afternoon, we'll be near the 90-degree mark. Now, notice how clear it is. That's how it helps us out in the morning time. We're going to cool down to like 67 in some places. Then we'll bounce back into the 80s by the afternoon hours. But the other part where the clear skies is not going to actually help us out all that great is the amount of sunshine we're going to be exposed. Now, here's the tricky thing. I need you to remember this part. It won't necessarily feel hot for the next couple of days, but it'll be clear, and so clear will burn very easily. Don't let the cool feel of the morning lull you into a false sense of security like you don't necessarily need help with the sunblock, okay? Our July 4th planner, listen, we're going to be in the 80s, okay? Looking pretty good for our fireworks forecast. 90 for us in Chincoteague, 83 on Thursday for us in Fenwick Island. We're looking at 88 degrees for us on Thursday. And then we're going to warm to 89 degrees in Lewis on Thursday. Finally, here's a look at the extended forecast. Celebrations on the 4th of July should go without missing a beat. And so we have perfect weather for enjoying all the fireworks.
All right, thanks again, Paul. Well, now you're looking at the view from the Cape Henlopen State Park bathhouse. It's where off-duty lifeguards spotted a woman in trouble out in the water yesterday. And tonight, we met the lifeguards who may have saved her life. When the beach day winds down at about 5 p.m., most lifeguards up and down the coast head home. But the job doesn't always end when the shift does.
I got a call from my boss saying, hey, there's a missing swimmer off the naval jetties. I hopped in my car, sped down here.
The group of guards then hopped into these Polaris beach vehicles and raced up the coast from Rehoboth to Cape Henlopen State Park.
It's probably about 2.5 miles.
When they got here, the state park bathhouse, it was Luke McDermott, now nicknamed Eagle Eyes, who spotted her.
I was looking out in the ocean and I saw a swimmer and I noticed that she looked like she was struggling, so I was like, hey guys, I think that could be her. And then we saw her hand go up, and then that's when we jumped into action, swam out, and got her.
He says she almost blended into the ocean.
She was wearing all navy bathing suit, and the swell was pretty hard because there was like a 5-foot interval in between, so it was hard to see.
The woman is reportedly doing okay now.
Once we got her back on the beach, she was evaluated by Sussex County paramedics. She did refuse further medical treatment.
These lifeguards didn't have to help.
but they did.
I'm very proud of them.
Still, they say they were just doing what they're supposed to.
We were just pretty much focused on getting out there and getting her back in, and just doing that as quickly as we could.
The training kind of just kicks in, and then you kind of just do what any lifeguard would do.
Lifeguards off duty, but all in.
And by the way, Captain Kent Bugson says the search for that missing swimmer had been going on for about an hour, with Delaware State Police, the Lewis Fire Department, and the Coast Guard joining in, but it was those lifeguards who made the save. Still ahead on Coast TV News at 11, travel turmoil, storms, delays, also packed airports, what you can expect heading into the 4th.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Looks like your 4th of July fireworks might be a little more expensive this year. The American Pyrotechnics Association says that's because of 99% of consumer fireworks in the U.S. are produced by China. China now subject to tariffs by the Trump administration. Some fireworks sellers aren't seeing a major jump in prices, but Miller Fireworks Company has been in business in Northwest Ohio for more than 70 years. A salesman there says they tried to stock up before the tariffs were enforced.
Some of them did hit us. We did take some across the board, but it only raised a couple of our items. The majority of our stuff stayed the same price, so we're still able to give you the deals.
Meanwhile, the American Pyrotechnics Association is warning against sustained tariffs. It says they could impact the many small businesses that make up the American fireworks industry. It's warning of higher prices and supply chain challenges. Maryland State Police say they are ramping up enforcement ahead of the Independence Day weekend. Troopers across all 23 barracks will increase patrols to target impaired, distracted, and aggressive drivers. On the Eastern Shore, the focus is on larger roads like US 50, 13, and 301. And on one of the busiest travel weeks of the year, it's been a huge headache for millions of people dealing with nasty weather and flight delays. Sam Brock is in New York with the latest.
This morning, dramatic weather snarling travel across the country, from the tarmac to the roads. Storms sweeping across the East Coast, from hail in the south to fierce wind and rain throughout the region. Vehicles struggling against the wind, with floodwaters rising throughout the Northeast and cars stuck on flooded roadways. The severe weather also striking the West with heat advisories and dust storms. It's all causing travel chaos at many of the nation's busiest airports during the July 4th travel crush. Delays and cancellations felt in Boston, Washington, and the New York City area.
Reserve hotels, find food, and whatnot.
It's a familiar theme for those taking flight. Record demand meeting the wrath of Mother Nature. The TSA posting that 6 of the top 10 travel days all time have taken place in 2025. That includes 2 in the last week, topped by more than 3 million people on June 22nd.
Mostly we just want to go home.
This week's storms hitting critical pain points on the East Coast. AAA forecasting a record 5.84 million flying ahead of our nation's birthday. And the Port Authority says more than a third of them, 2.2 million, will wind their way through major airports in New York and New Jersey from July 3rd to 7th.
I want to be in Orlando right now, but I'm still in New York.
And of course, it's a heavy driving holiday with tens of millions expecting to hit the road. Many now hoping to avoid those washouts that have stranded cars. But today, travelers with reason for optimism, with storms moving out and clearer skies expected. Welcome news for Americans getting ready to celebrate the 4th.
Coming up, we preview tomorrow's Shorebirds action along with a look at this week's episode of Into the Trenches.
And we take a look at the forecast for golfing, and listen, it's going to be a little bit on the steamy side, but we should be all right. 88 degrees with scattered clouds.
We salute Jerry Thompson. Dr. Gerald Thompson graduated from Dover High School in 1965. By 1967, he was in Vietnam serving as an 82nd Airborne Ranger LRRP attached to 173rd Infantry, 23rd Infantry, and Americal Division. On August 18, 1968, Jerry left Vietnam and met a beautiful girl who became the love of his life, Colleen Ann Connell. In 1972, Jerry started at Milford High School as the music teacher and band director. Jerry dedicated his life to sharing the joy music with generations of students.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
A Massachusetts man says he got sick after being stung by an invasive ant. It happened while he was cleaning his pool last month, and he says he felt a pain in his hand and saw that it was an ant. He then began to feel sick about 20 minutes later and still did not feel good the next day. An exterminator later confirmed he had Asian needle ants on his property. Experts say reports of the invasive ants are on the rise across the nation. The stings can result in life-threatening anaphylaxis in some people. Experts say those who are sensitive to bee stings should keep an extra EpiPen on hand. Well, staying active is a critical component of being healthy, but in our busy lives, it can sometimes be hard to find the time to work out. In tonight's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has simple ways to work exercise into your daily life.
From work to family responsibilities, our schedules tend to stack up.
One of the biggest complaints I hear when it comes to exercise, I just don't have the time.
But part of staying healthy is being active. The CDC says adults need at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity a week and 2 days of muscle strengthening activity every week. The good news is that you don't have to get it done all at once. It can be spread throughout the week. And if you're just starting out, it's okay to take it slow, says Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Research shows even a 5-minute walk will do you good. Just get moving somehow, one foot in front of the other, and then incorporate it into your daily routine.
Start the habit of exercise by slowly adding to those short walks. Gupta says to make slight changes to increase your steps. Try parking farther away from a store or from work, or take the stairs instead of the elevator. But he says to commit to taking that 5-minute or more walk every day.
This snack-size exercise routine can eventually lead to longer walks and workouts. Usually it takes 2 to 3 weeks for something to become a habit, but if you can build up to 11 minutes of more moderate to vigorous types of activity a day, you could lower your risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, even premature death.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
We've reached the penultimate episode of Season 3 of Into the Trenches. Last week's episode showed the Vikings' senior night loss to Dover, but Cape has one final shot at the postseason if it can end the season with a win over St. George's. Could the Vikings punch their ticket to the DIAA state playoffs? Let's take a sneak peek into what episode 11 has in store.
On the next Into the Trenches.
Juniors and sophomores and freshmen that play. All right, you owe this group of seniors to play your very best. All right, our seniors have done a lot. All right, so pay them their due.
Whoever wins goes to the playoffs. So this is a home playoff game.
Into the Trenches, a new voyage on the Delmarva Sports Network and DSN Plus, sponsored by Preston Automotive.
And also tomorrow night, head over to Arthur Purdue Stadium for an early 4th of July celebration. The Shorebirds will host a fireworks extravaganza following tomorrow's game against Fredericksburg. It's their final game before Independence Day and the final home game for the Birds until July 18th. First pitch is at 6:35 p.m. with the fireworks immediately after the game. And make sure to download the DSN app and subscribe to DSN Plus so you don't miss any of our summer sports coverage. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night, everyone.
Here's another live look outside into the Dover area. We'll have one more check on the forecast after this. The historic Lewis Farmers Market is celebrating its 20th anniversary this weekend. A special tractor parade will open the market at 8 a.m. on Saturday, and a birthday cake cutting is going to follow that. Kids can join in on the birthday celebration with mini cupcakes during the children's story time, and local farmers will have everything from produce to pastries for visitors to purchase. The market continues through the end of September.
Take a look at our dry take camera in Ocean City. Right now we're holding at 73 degrees, dew point temperature of 49 with the winds at about 3 miles per hour at this point. Breaking down our expectations for the rest of the night, we're going to hold steady in the lower 70s for the rest of the night, staying mainly clear during the entire forecast period, seeing a few scattered clouds begin to develop right around the 3 o'clock hour. We're not expecting any more rain, but a lot of sunshine to the point where an umbrella will become handy to block the sun from you, because we're going to have a 10 across the board for the next 5 days in a row. So, John's Salomon of Millsboro, you might want to use that umbrella to block the sun, not just the rain that's going to come in the wake after that. Keep up with your forecast, by the way, by calling our weather line. The number to call is 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstedt, Mendalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. We're going to stay muggy for Thursday, that's for sure, with 89 feeling more like 98 to near 100. Cooler but brighter on Friday. Be sure you use the sunblock as you're out and about throughout the day Friday, and really Saturday and Sunday as we kind of teeter back and forth between upper 80s to lower 90s for the next few days. And then we watch out for a chance of scattered showers developing for Monday, Tuesday, well, basically all week long for next week until like next Saturday, to be quite honest.
All right, thank you again, Paul, and thanks to you at home for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. You can always find some more local news and local weather on our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's up next, and we'll see you back tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.